thank you for showing up. This is actually part of fulfilling my contract with the Professional Development Fund, and I'll explain a little bit more what that means later on in the presentation. So, my presentation is entitled RUSVM at the AMC. If you guys have any questions after the presentation, please feel free to email me. This presentation will also be up, I believe, on the RUSVM page or as a link on YouTube. So if you need any clarification on anything, you guys have that for you. So what is the AMC? Let me take a step back. AMC stands for the Animal Medical Center in New York City. And it has a very interesting history. It actually began as a women's auxiliary group to the ASPCA back in the early 1900s. And then they broke off into their own separate entity in 1910. So the Women's Auxiliary of the ASPCA became the New York Women's League for Animals. And they opened a very small clinic on the Lower East Side of Manhattan with the goal of providing health care and services to the draft horses and the pets of the people that lived on the Lower East Side. As we know, historically, those were our, immigrants, low working class that really didn't have the funds for high-tech care. So that was their aim, was to increase animal welfare by providing services for that population. In 1914, that small clinic was then replaced by an actual hospital. They actually had a resident surgeon, and they had stalls for horses, and they had hospital wards for dogs and cats. They actually maintained operation through 2 world wars, through the Great Depression. Despite all the financial constraints and the challenges, they still kept going, they still kept providing that care. And in the late 50s, one of the spouses of the ladies donated a large sum of money, and they decided to create an actual hospital and to venture into veterinary education. So in 1959, they voted to change the name to the Animal Medical Center. And in 1960, they began constructing what was then a $4 million building, which is the building I showed you in the previous slide. So that was built in the 1960s, and that's where the hospital is today, on 62nd Street, right on the edge of the East River between First York and the FDR Highway. So very prominent location, you can't miss it on the East River, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, that was the clinic back in 1910. And then you see you have your x-ray machine, and that's the lobby today. So very cool evolution. Today their mission statement is to provide compassionate and collaborative care to animals, leading to the advancement of medicine through education. And then their core values are compassion, advancement, excellence, and respect. And me personally, I feel that with every interaction with the staff vets, the interns, and the residents, they all seem to rise up to the challenge of holding up those core values, personally. And really interesting, they're also a nonprofit veterinary center. So that means they have the ability to provide some of the cutting edge technologies at a more reduced price versus a private clinic or hospital. Still expensive, but not quite as expensive. Sometimes anywhere between 30 and 40% cheaper. So that's really cool too. And it's divided into 2 divisions. So you have the hospital, which is the facility where we provide veterinary care, and then you have the Research Institute. The cool thing is a lot of the staff veterinarians are members of the Research Institute, so a lot of them are conducting trials. When I mean a trial, I mean a clinical trial. So they'll have patient population, they'll data mine, they'll try new treatments. There are no laboratory animals kept, and there's no actual live animal experiments conducted at the AMC. So these are all the departments you guys can choose to extern at. As you can see, it's a very extensive list, very comprehensive small animal, anywhere between rehab, orthopedics, interventional radiology is really cool. You basically have a fluoroscope in the middle of the surgery room, so in real time, surgeons can insert liquids into vessels and fluids and see what's going on and repair in real time, which is really cool. And the 2 I highlighted are dentistry and pathology. Those require the department head's approval simply because you are going to be expected to know a certain level of information, and they want to make sure you can get the best out of your experience. So they want to make sure you've completed, for example, PATH. I did PATH 1 and 2 before I even applied, just so you can feel like you're on a somewhat even field with the residents and the interns and keep up. So my first week was at internal medicine and I entitled it Welcome to the Jungle. I started at 8 a.m. I left at 7:15. Alex was there with me, so he knows it was like literally you hit the ground running. These are the two staff veterinarians, Dr. Douglas Palma, who was voted like top New York City vet a few years in a row. And then Dr. Dennis Slade, who was also intern, who became a resident, who also stayed on as a staff. So very smart men. As soon as I was on the examination floor with them, grilling me about drugs. Why would I do this? Why would I do that? So I was not treated as anything beneath an intern. They expected me to know an answer, or at least formulate an answer, which was great. Really kept me on my toes, really made me feel like, wow, what I'm learning in school is actually important because they're actually asking me about it. So the reason why I have this radiograph is a really interesting story. It was a Tuesday afternoon, around 5:15. We saw our appointments on time, or a little ahead of schedule. We were wrapping up rounds. These two lovely gentlemen were gonna go home. Resident were gonna catch up on paperwork, and the tech comes in. Hey guys, we have an emergency coming in. We're still on call. Get ready. What do you mean we're on call? Turns out this cute little Dachshund, 3-year-old, decided to eat pennies. Yeah, if you've had clean pack, you know that's not a good idea. So long story short, it consumed 2 pennies, one of which was basically being digested in its stomach and destroying its red blood cells. So medical emergency. Dachshund came in, before we can even take it up to the intervention suite where we have the endoscopy equipment, they had to give them bolus amount of blood. So while they're bolusing blood, we're upstairs on the second floor getting ready. As soon as that syringe was emptied, dog was carried upstairs. Within 5 minutes, oops, sorry, what I did. We had, with the alligator forceps, you feed them through the endoscopy, you saw, you pinch them and basically yank them out. So without having to cut the poor puppy open, a small little Dachshund that I don't think hit 15 pounds on a good day, we were able to get those 2 pennies out in a safe manner. We did radiographs afterwards, he was perfectly fine. And what would have been a laparotomy and a 2-hour exploratory was a 10-minute grab, pull, we all went home right afterwards. So just the power of the skills that are there and the equipment that are there. Another fun story from internal med, it was my last day on Friday, and I needed caffeine. Anyone that knows me knows I drink coffee, lots of it. So I went to Dr. Slade and Dr. Palma and asked them, hey, do you gentlemen need anything? I'm gonna go grab upstairs. Dr. Slade is very calmly looks at me deadpan. You're not getting coffee. I'm like, excuse me? You're gonna help me with a procedure upstairs, let's go. I'm like, right now? He's like, yeah, right now. Got it. So it turns out they actually let me, glove up, gown up, practicing my open blooming technique so I can assist with a transtracheal wash using the endoscope. So that was really cool. I had to set up the saline. I actually inserted it through the ET tube down to the carotid and flush, pull. They had to suction and I went again and did it. So yes, technically it's a hands-off externship, but you never know what you're gonna be allowed to do if you demonstrate that you're willing to learn, that you pay attention, and that you're willing to step foot to the gun. And even if you don't have an answer, at least say something. So internal medicine was probably my favorite rotation. I had a lot of fun. It kept me on my toes. I was sweating at the end of the day, but I had a really big smile on my face. So that experience kind of made me think, I think internal medicine is the thing. So the next week, we went to see Dr. Taryn Donovan, and she's the anatomical pathologist in-house. So the cool thing is they have their own anatomical pathologist. So any patient that deceases, that the clinician wants to know, they can just take the rooming straight up to the 6th floor, and she can do a necropsy within hours. These 2 patients were actually patients I saw while in internal medicine B, the week prior to me working with Dr. Donovan. So it was really cool because I actually saw them while they were alive during the procedures that were done, when they were sick, when they were showing signs, so I could relay back to Dr. Donovan, yeah, this is what the doctor saw. And if she had any questions, she could call Dr. Palmer or Dr. Slade and ask for clarification. So as a team, they were really able to put together some really good gross diagnoses and basically give clients an answer as to why, despite their well-earned money and despite our best efforts, their patient didn't quite make it. So with Marzia, she was a 9-year-old Pomeranian who had megaesophagus. And we knew she had a collapsing trachea. We did not know it was this collapse. Look how far back that stays flat. So you can imagine breathing next to impossible. And she had a giant esophagus that would fill up with food and not empty. So we tried our best. Just the anatomy wasn't there to support her anymore. With Tommy, he was a 13-year-old domestic short hair who presented with dyspneic breathing, so really difficult time breathing. And there really wasn't a reason why. We went in with a endoscope again, and we actually did a laryngeal tie back. So that over there's a button where you basically did a para across the larynx and the cartilage to try to hold it open. And the procedure itself was successful, so we were wondering, was it the procedure that led to his demise? It turned out that Tommy had a squamous cell carcinoma that had metastasized to his cartilages, and that's why they looked swollen and knobby and angry. So yes, the tie back was successful, but there was nothing really we could do at that point. So again, it gave Dr. Palmer the security of, we did the best we could, and then he could relay that to the client. And again, sometimes, and depending on where you work, you may have to send out these, remains and wait for weeks. We could give the client answers within a couple of days and help them. I mean, some clients, that helps them with the grieving process too. As a clinician, you now know if this happens, what the more likely diagnosis is, and you can give a prognostic indicator to your client as to what's really going on. So I learned a lot with Dr. Donovan, and the smartest woman you'll ever meet, also the nicest and most approachable. And her team of technicians, Amanda and Hannah, are awesome as well. Last but not least was the cardiology department. So I called it the staying alive because all of the inpatients in cardio are really, really sick, and literally we're working to literally just keep them alive day by day. So this gentleman right here is Dr. Philip Fox. You may know him as the author of the Canine and Feline Cardiology textbook. He was one of the founding editors of the Journal of Veterinary Cardiology. So he runs the Casper Research Institute now. He's like the director, so very high up, well-connected, brilliant, well-known, veterinarian who was very happy to walk me through a physical exam and say, do you hear the murmur? Where do you hear the murmur? What does it sound like? Can you feel it? So yes, the triple boarded cardiologist walked me through a PE exam and showed me the little tricks that if you don't have an echo, you can still give your client a diagnosis of some sort of cardiac problem just by being a good physician. And no amount of technology is going to take away the years of experience this gentleman has. So I felt very honored to just be in the same room as him and listen to him talk and interact. And then Dr. Dennis Trafney, he was the first board-certified cardiologist I met. And the first day, of course, we're there, and I am confused as all, because he's using different axes for viewing the heart that I have no familiarity with. He then stops and says, oh, don't feel bad that you don't know what you're seeing. These are cardiology-only axes. As soon as I'm done, I'll walk you through. And he actually walked me through all of the different axes that he used. He's like, hey, I went under the rib cage for this, and this is why. And do you see this? And why would I see that? So again, still testing my knowledge without having me to quote-unquote touch my, which is invaluable experience if you ask me. Just knowing how to do a PE exam, knowing how to go through the problem-oriented method of going through a problem. And the best part for me was being home during Christmas. New York is a great place, don't get me wrong, AMC is awesome, but if you're gonna be staying in Midtown Manhattan, which they do have subsidized housing that's available to you at a much cheaper cost than a hotel, take advantage. You're in Midtown, walk to Central Park, go to Rockefeller Center, catch the play on Broadway. You have a student ID, you get a lot of discounts. Trust me, you can get into some museums for free or at half off. Guggenheim included, Museum of Natural History. So if you do decide, remember, there's more out there than just your veterinary life. Get out there and explore the city. This slide is up there for your information. Again, you guys will have all of this. So I'll just speed right through because you guys will have access to this. This is just the steps I took to get the externship. And last but not least, thank you. Thank you to the SCAVMA Professional Development Fund, because without their support financially, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy the ability to be completely in the game and really enjoy my internship without having finances looming in the back of my head. So thank you. Big thanks to Miss Patricia Skay for Trish. She had no idea how to go through this process. She had just arrived on island and she walked me through the process herself. So that was really helpful for her. Miss Tanisha Jackson, she is your contact at the AMC. The nicest lady you will speak to. She will help you over the phone. She's super busy, but super helpful. So she is definitely a resource to keep on hand. These are all the physicians I work with, and there's a special thanks to Miss Christy Williams. She was actually Old Pink, and she was an intern in internal medicine D. My first day was her first day, and she had pulled an all-nighter, and you should have seen her on that exam floor, taking histories, doing physical exams. Dr. Palma didn't even know that that was her first day on the rotation. She did such a good job. So remember, we're Rossies, we're gonna excel out there, and she's actually gonna apply for a residency in surgery at the AMC, so you can do it, she can do it, we got this. Thank you guys, appreciate it.